Hello. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Let me just direct a couple people to where I am and make sure I'm live in the right place. It looks like it. Let me just direct some people here. Let me make sure. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm live in the right place. How's everybody doing today? I waited too long to announce that I was even doing this today. I do it every Thursday at 4 o'clock, and if I'm not going to, I will let you guys know, just so you know for the future. But now I have people asking. And I just want, excuse me, I can't even swallow my spit right. Oh my goodness. I just want to direct the people to the group who haven't joined yet. And then everyone else, I'll just let them in afterwards and send them the let me just send someone the link here, and then we'll get started. So, Ancestor Veneration. This is the perfect time of the year for Ancestor Veneration. We are live in the right place. Wonderful. So, as we all know, the veil between the worlds, between the seen and the unseen, the world of the 3D and the astral realm, really thins out at this time of year. And this is known as the time where the dead can walk along among the living, and where souls can pass in and out of the underworld without permission or without any kind of problem or issue. And so our ancestors are more available for us right now, and it's easier to communicate with them at this time. It's easier to communicate with them during this time, and it's easier for us to receive messages from them as well. Let me really quick just send Christina here the link so she can come and join us. Oh no, that's not the right link. Oh my goodness. Of course, because I'm live, I'm messing things up. How are you, Lindsay? It's good to see you. I'm so excited for Saturday. I can't wait. Good grief, Angela. You'd think that I'd have this down by now, but it's hard to keep all the right links copied and pasted in the right spot so that I could just really quickly send them to someone. So I'm always copying and pasting stuff, and then sometimes the link that I think I'm going to be able to get really quickly is just not there. Spend a lot of time directing people around, which is totally fine. I want everyone to be able to find what I do here online. And so that's part of it, is spending the time playing the director, directing people to the right place. Because I want to be able to share this with the world. Everyone should know how to do this stuff. The information should be available for everyone. And it is, but a lot of it's all over the place. I studied the occult for about 20 some years before I started actually sharing it online. Okay, and then I just have to accept anybody's... If anybody tries to join the group right now, I just have to accept them so they can join us live. Sweetness. Okay, I'm back. So, ancestor veneration. This is the time of year where everyone, I mean every culture that I have ever looked into or studied, and almost every continent and almost every country on this planet has a history of, if not a current practice, of using this time of the year, late October into early November, for their ancestor worship, for speaking to the unseen realms, for taking even spiritual journeys into the underworld. This is a time where we do shadow work, where we where we go into the darkness in order to discover our own light. This is the time of year where we celebrate the cycle of life and death and the cycle of reincarnation. And this is the time of the year where we want to connect with the unseen world, with the unseen, with our ancestors that came before us in our lineages, but also the ancestors of the land, and then human ancestors that may or may not have been in our blood lineage, but are still and have an influence still upon us and other humans in the collective. And so it doesn't have to be ancestors directly from your lineage. It can be spiritual teachers, it could be ascended masters, it could be any being that ever walked this earth that is now not in the non-physical, that is now not physically here in the 3D. Any being that walked the earth, or any spirit of the land, or spirit of the elements as well. So you like the Fae and Devas and the elementals, those are all can be included in ancestral veneration as well. And I'm just going to keep checking to make sure that there's no questions. Sweet. All right. Let me just let Christina in. There she is. She made it. Sweet. Let me just let her in. Nice. Yay. And now I'm going to go to the live so I can see if you guys have any questions. When I can never see it on the computer. So I'm just going to bring it up on my phone. That way, let me turn down the volume. There we go. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Hi, Kelly. How you doing, Kelly? How have you been, dear? Thank you so much for joining me live today. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now that I got a bunch of eyes on me paying attention, we are doing another episode of Waking the Witch. I do this once a week on Thursdays at 4 p.m. New York time. And today we're going to delve a little bit into the sacred practice that connects us to our roots and our wisdom, that connects us essentially to the wisdom of the ages, and that's ancestral veneration. Another way to explain that is ancestral worship is another way to say it. And it's also the Day of the Dead, or All Souls Day, all over the world, all ancient civilizations, and almost every current civilization has a practice or a holy day or a holiday where in the end of October, the beginning of November, where they connect with their ancestors and the people and beings who came before us, and including in some cases elementals, fairies, fae, ancestors of the land, and things like this. And so it's a practice found everywhere, all over the world. And it's a way to honor and connect with our ancestors. And we draw on their wisdom and their guidance. Not only that, we ask them for their permission for things. We ask them to help us to get on our dharmic path, right? And so I know that this is definitely true for me, and it might be probably true for quite a few of you, that I've always felt like I was here to do something special, and I always felt like there was a little bit more for me here than met the eye. And I hold this belief that I am on contract, working a contract work here in this lifetime. And I'm employed by my ancestors and the people who came before me to heal my ancestral line. And that work is called dharmic work. So that's work that is your soul's path. It's your soul's work to do. And that includes healing your lineage and working with the people that you are, your family that you're here with now, the family that you'll have in the future, your children, your nieces and nephews, and your grandchildren, the people that come after you in your line. So this is work on healing. It's work on healing ancestral traumas, healing ancestral thinking, wounds around money and lack, and wounds around trauma and abuse, wounds around just being uneducated, having a lineage of people who are uneducated in how to move through and take care of one another in this world in a healthy and sustainable way. And so in this episode, we're going to explore a little bit the significance, and I'm going to talk about how to create an ancestral offer, and then a little bit about some rituals that you can start establishing to keep to have a connection with your forebears, with your ancestors. And so our ancestors are our spiritual and our genetic roots. So by connecting with them, we can gain access to their wisdom and their blessings, their guidance, their protection. And it helps us navigate challenges through life and to strengthen us on our spiritual journey. And it's a beautiful way to keep their memory alive and honor their legacy. So there's a sacred practice dedicated to our ancestors where we create an altar, and it's a place of reverence and connection. It's a place where we come to honor them, where we come to communicate with them, where we can really sink ourselves into the energy of connecting with those who came before. And you can have it in a drawer, you could have it on a table someplace in your house, or you can have it where you take it down and put it back up if you're not someone who has a place where you can leave something like that out all the time. Maybe you're living with people who aren't into that thing, or into that kind of a thing, or whatever. So it can be put up and taken down. It could be hidden someplace, or it could be out in the open. As long as like you have a place where you can really clear the energy and have a space that you can really connect to your ancestors in. So a quiet, respectful area where you can put a little altar, and it doesn't have to be anything big or grandiose or crazy, but collecting photographs of your loved ones that came before, heirlooms, candles, incense, crystals, other meaningful items. I like to add things I find in nature, pine cones, maybe some pretty orange and yellow leaves from this time of year, and arranging them on an altar, placing them in with care and with intention. I like to place my grandmother on my altar, my mother's mother and my father's mother. I put them on my altar, pictures of them, and also my father's sister, who was an IHM nun and in the Catholic faith. And she was one of the most loving, open-minded, amazing people I've ever met. She died when I was in my early 20s. And we never really talked about religion because I didn't want to talk about it or think about it or whatever. Back then, I was still really confused about religion because listening to their teachings growing up at 5 and 6 years old, I was like, these adults believe what? Like, these grown adults believe that there's a man in the sky that has this list of rules that he's holding us to, and if we don't love him in the way he says, we burn in hell for eternity. Like, that didn't seem true to me then. It seemed just as ridiculous to me at 5 or 6, 7 than it does now. And so I just kind of was a good girl, and I just played by the rules, and I went and I did my sacraments, and I went to church with school. Luckily, I had great parents that when we came home, they didn't force us to do any of these things. They never forced us what to believe or whatever. They basically sent us there to school for the morals, and because that's how they were raised. And so I got lucky where I got to have both best of both worlds. But I really like to connect with my aunt at this time of the year the most because she had a very intimate spiritual relationship with with Jesus and with God and Mary, the Mother Mary, and she had a very open-minded and loving practice that I don't see a whole lot of people from that faith practicing as much these days. And I really wish that I had gotten to have some of these conversations with her at an earlier time. And so I'm trying to have them with her now. And so what I'll do is I will kneel down and I will leave offerings for all three of them. You could use honey or whiskey. My aunt really liked whiskey, and so I leave her a little bit of whiskey. I don't even drink whiskey. I get it like a little bottle, and I just use it for this time of year. Where I leave them like something that they really liked, one of their favorite things, and then I pray to them and I tell them about what my goals are and what my desire is to do in this on my path, and the kinds of things that I want to do to change and heal my lineage. And I tell them about it. And then I ask them questions. I ask them for guidance. I ask my aunt specific questions. And then I meditate and I try to listen for the answers. And sometimes they come to me really easily and quickly. I write them down immediately. And then other times they'll come later in dreams, or a couple days later I'll just get this knowing, so don't expect it to every, time for it to happen immediately. And sometimes knowings come in time, sometimes it takes a while. But the more that we practice with this type of thing, the more comfortable we get and the easier the communication is. This is the easiest time of the year to communicate with them. And so all year long, I have a hard time keeping this up. This is not something that I do all year long. I do it throughout the end of October and the beginning of November on a couple days a week basis, where I make sure I spend 10, 15, 20 minutes doing this. And then I will get off track and I won't do it throughout the holidays. But then, early in the spring, I might take, a day or two and do the practice again. And maybe later on at the end of the summer, I will. And then again now. And then, so it's only a few times a year that I really work on the ancestral veneration itself, but other times in the year, I kind of weave this type of thing into my practice a little bit here and there. It's not something that you have to do every day for it to be effective. It's not something that you have to do all year long for it to be effective. I just try to, I only have my altar set up to my ancestors at this time of year, but I will include my ancestors in rituals throughout the year, if that makes any sense. So candles and incense are good. I like smoke cleansing to clean the space. You can also clean, and anoint a candle and then carve their name into a candle, or carve a word or a phrase or a symbol that maybe means something to you and them, or meant something to them. That works. Spending time in meditation and focusing on your ancestors and inviting their presence in. And so do let me know if you have any questions. So that's how to prepare an altar. And then let's explore a little bit some offerings and some ways in which we can begin a practice of doing small rituals to honor our ancestors. So one thing that you can do is you can do a daily offering. This is, like I said, food or drink items that your ancestors loved. And this can include their favorite foods, their favorite dishes, tea, water, coffee, whiskey, whatever it might be that they were interested in or that they really liked. Like I said, I speak to them in prayer. And I share my thoughts and I ask them for guidance. And this can be done through a prayer, meditation, or simply just talking to them as if they're there, as if they're sitting right there with you. Because they are. I mean, I know that there is a veil that we cannot see that is kind of like the veil of forgetfulness, where the state of our consciousness is not always in a place or at a point where it's easy to communicate with the unseen world. We are not programmed for that type of thinking and that type of being in this society. But the more you practice it, the easier it gets. And so there will be times throughout the year where you just find it easy to do this connecting. This just happens to be the time of the year where generally most people have an easy time with the connecting. And so it's not something that just has to be done this time of year. But I always make sure that I do it this time of year intentionally, just to make sure that I do get it done for the year. On special occasions, I sometimes will celebrate with them, often on Christmas Eve especially. Growing up, we had big Christmas Eve parties at my grandparents' house, and every year, and both sides of my family would be there, and a lot of that family is not here now. And so I will sit sometimes on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning when it's quiet and I'm by myself, and I'll light a candle, and I will maybe even put like a couple bites of leftovers on a plate and just stick it on the table, and I'll talk to them and I'll celebrate the holidays with them. You can deepen your connection by listening to a guided meditation. You can find some on YouTube. Maybe I'll do one for us too, and put it in here for everyone to do. Actually, I probably will do one and put it in, do a guided meditation to connect with the ancestors, and put it in the A Simple Earth Magic mini course, so that everyone who is in that group can do that. Trying to think of anything else that I might have forgotten. I mean, magic is a lot more simple than a lot of people give it credit for. It took me many years to practice and learn and really understand the occult. But having a natural magical practice, having any of these practices that I teach are simple. They're really simple. It's more about intention and attention than it is anything else. And you can't do it wrong. Like, you literally cannot do it wrong. The only time that you can do magic wrong is when you are messing with someone else's free will, or you're trying to learn a specific tradition, or you're trying to practice a religion. Then you should probably follow the traditional paths. But for the most part, having this kind of a personal practice is a very simple thing. And it really involves your focus, your attention, and your intention. And then, like with manifestation, this is why I teach magic and manifestation together. Because magic is using our will and our intentions and our attention and our focus, and manipulating the energy within us and in the outside world to manifest a result, to manifest a change, a result, to manifest a feeling, to manifest basically a feeling, right? Or an energy of being. And that's why I think magic and manifestation are one and the same, because they really are. They're the same thing. And this is no different. It's no different with ancestral veneration or candle magic or crystal magic. It's all the same, except for when you use tools, crystals, herbs, candles, any of those things, and you're going to use the ones that kind of correspond to the outcome that you're looking for. And so if you're looking for an outcome of peace and connection, or of abundance, then you just choose. I have lists of correspondences in the guide section of this group, and I will put more in time, but they are just there as a guide. If you feel that you want to use something and it isn't on a list of corresponding with the outcome that you want, use it anyway. That's your intuition telling you that you should use it. And some quick tips before I go. If you don't have the perfect colored candle to go with your intention, use white or black. If you don't have an herb on the list, you can always supplement it with rosemary. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, as far as crystals go, if you don't have the crystal that corresponds, you can always just use clear quartz or selenite. So those are just some tricks. There are no rules. Make it make it something that makes you feel like you're connecting with your ancestors. Make it something that makes you feel emotionally how you think you'll feel if you come into contact with your ancestors. And so that's really what it's all about. A lot of this work is really about believing and bringing on feelings and emotions as if you already have what you desire, no matter what that desire is. If it's a connection, if it's a conversation, if it's an outcome, it's all still the same. It all still works the same. So if anyone doesn't have any questions, I am going to go back to planning this course for Saturday. I will be, I have a Simple Earth Magic mini course going, and it is a mini course on, basically, I called it Earth Magic, but it's really just a course on natural magic. And it is on a bunch of different kinds I'm going to cover. Let me really quickly look at the list and make sure I don't forget. We're going to do earth magic, elemental magic, crystal magic, herbal magic, lunar magic, ancestral magic. So we'll cover this. We'll go a little bit more in depth in this. And then candle magic as well. And then how to create spells. So we're doing that tomorrow. The energy exchange is $40. It starts at, not tomorrow, Saturday. It starts at 1 p.m. We'll end sometime between 4 and 5 p.m. We will take breaks in the middle for snacks and bathroom breaks. And yeah, bring all your questions, because that's how you create a great information product. A product that's full of information is by being able to have people there live to ask the questions, because I might miss something. I might not realize what it is that you're looking for. And so the more questions that you bring with you, the better it's going to be for all of us, honestly. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Every week I'm here. Every week I'm here at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. And I'll see you guys at 4 o'clock next Thursday as well. I will be popping into the group some point this week to do a reading as well, since I missed the readings for the last couple weeks. Yesterday was so busy, and Tuesday was so busy for me running around that I didn't even get the tarot card for the week pulled. Actually, I did one yesterday with a client, and I'm going to put that one in the group for us now. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and you'll be seeing me again very soon. Any questions before I run? Let me just double check. It doesn't look like it. Okay. I'll see you guys all very soon. Oh, I did answer questions. Great. Sweet. Chin for Grandma. Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. Hey, Karen. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever. I actually answered some questions you had. That's great. And please bring more questions. Anything you have questions about. I'm going to get better at telling you the subject of these lives, like right before, like a couple hours beforehand, so you have a minute to like collect your questions beforehand. And I usually do that, but I've been running around. I've been in 4 states in 10 days. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but guys, I'm also delivering a live program. So I'm doing one-on-ones with my clients, as well as doing group teachings in there and creating guided journeys and doing guides and things like that, plus creating the course, the Earth Magic course that I'm doing this weekend. So I've had my hands full, on top of, you know, trying to get posts and lives done in this group as well. So it's been a juggling act, but I can't even begin to tell you guys, I am so grateful. I am not only doing what I love to do, but I am doing it with women who I respect and I admire, and they're strong and they're passionate and they're powerful and they're beautiful, and watching them create these things in their lives, watching them learn how to love themselves and respect themselves and build boundaries, and watching them achieve things that they want to achieve is just one of the most rewarding things in the world. Just watching them gain confidence and really learn how to like deepen their own spiritual practices. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And I can't even begin to tell you guys how grateful I am to have the opportunity to do this and to work with each and every one of you beautiful people that are in this group. And I thank you all for being here and lending your energy to this beautiful space. Please feel free to put posts in the group, ask questions, start discussions, post, as long as it's about natural magic or manifestation or intuition or any of those personal development things that we talk about. Anything that's about women's empowerment or women's spirituality, it's all welcome. So please feel free to use this community to get to know each other, to connect with one another, to ask questions and have them answered, to share, you know, anything that you feel called to do. That's what this space is for. Thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.